Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kurt Barshik. I'm the Vice President for the Mon Valley Works with U.S. Steel. I really love to welcome everyone to North America's biggest and best coke plant. This is where American steel, where the steelmaking process starts, mined, melted, and made in the USA. Welcome to our Future on Track event. Today, we're unveiling one of our new battery-powered locomotives. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. Before we hear from some of our key speakers, I'd like to recognize a few groups in attendance, so please stand to be recognized. First, our project team that was led by Neil Perger of U.S. Steel Engineering. The team from Innovative Rail Technologies that did the conversion of this locomotive. The members of our community advisory panels, who are great partners. They're the connection between U.S. Steel and the people in the cities where our Mon Valley plants operate. We work with them to ensure that any concerns in the community are addressed. In attendance today, Anthony Kalechi from Glassport, Tammy Fierda from Lincoln, Jane Wiegand from Liberty, Janice Matakowski from Liberty, and Kevin Pollock from Jefferson. Please stand to be recognized if you're here. And finally, to our outstanding leadership of the USW at Clairton Works and all the USW leadership, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Our locomotive project is a big step in U.S. Steel's push towards achieving net zero emissions by 2050. Getting to that goal is going to take innovation, and that's what this project is all about. Two of our once diesel locomotives have been given new life. Through innovation, we've repurposed for them to be run on battery power. That means we'll be using less fuel and lowering our emissions. The locomotive behind me is going to be used here at Clairton, and we have a second one that's being constructed, and that one will be delivered to the Edgar Thomson plant in Braddock. The future of transportation is electric, and today U.S. Steel's future really is on track. So converting our locomotive to battery power is also a shining example of what can happen when the public and private partnership succeeds. A percentage of the funds that were used were offset to the construction of this locomotive came from a partnership between U.S. Steel and the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. I want to share with you a little bit more about what we're doing here, so let's check out this video. Wow. So it's a great day for us to celebrate. So with that, we're going to introduce our first speaker. I'd like to introduce Mark Jeffrey, our plant manager here at the Clairton Plant, who's been instrumental in making this all happen. Mark.
Thank you, Kurt. I am Mark Jeffrey, the plant manager of Clairton Plant, and along with our 1,200 highly skilled, hard-working men and women, we welcome you to our facility today. The Clairton Plant and the coke-making process is an essential first step in the steel-making process. With a core focus on environmental excellence, the facility has achieved significant and measurable results and continue to leverage emerging technologies and innovation to drive continuous improvement in our safety, our environmental, our operations, and our reliability. I've always been captivated and enthusiastic about locomotives. As a child, I collected and built model railroads. Later, my father and I used to travel to ride steam locomotives. When I began working at U.S. Steel, I got the opportunity around diesel-powered switcher locomotives that move our steel, our coke, and our raw materials throughout our facilities. And now I can say I am part of a very innovative, great project team that was able to adopt battery-powered locomotives and be the first site in industry to have battery-operated switcher locomotives in their facility. It's an exciting day for the Mon Valley. Great things do happen when industry and the public sector join together and achieve a sustainable solution in the case of the locomotives here. U.S. Steel uses emerging technologies to reach all of our climate goals. The battery-powered locomotive reduces diesel fuel, reduces PM 2.5, and also reduces greenhouse gas. Reductions equivalent to over 7,000 passenger vehicles, and diesel fuel reductions of over 40,000 gallons of diesel fuel. The project represents a significant step towards air pollution reduction, reinforces our commitment to the environmental excellence, and creates a model for other industries, for rail industry, to all get together and transform into this new technology. I hope everyone's excited as I am today. Please enjoy this great day. Take some time to enjoy the locomotive, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Now we'll hear from Ira Dorfman. He's the principal at Innovative Rail Technologies, the company responsible for the transformation of our diesel-powered locomotive to battery power. Ira.
Good afternoon, everyone, and like to acknowledge my two senior partners, Mike Nicoletti and Rick Herndon, who are here as well today to enjoy this exciting day, even with this less than exciting weather. So thank you, U.S. Steel, for collaborating with Innovative Rail Technologies to bring our exciting and beneficial battery electric zero-emission Atlas propulsion technology to Pittsburgh. You know, without the folks that have already been noted, you know, introducing disruptive technology into an established industry is never easy, and it's always challenging, especially when you're first. It requires a leap of faith and the buy-in from top management, from the CEO, Dave Burritt, to Mark Jeffries, and the project manager, Neil Perger, along with the locomotive operators and the men and women in orange. I mean, without this kind of in full-scale enthusiastic commitment and embrace by the entire corporation, a project like this is simply not possible. So today's result is not window dressing, but rather an introduction of technology that's capable of both improving the operational efficiency of U.S. Steel and providing tangible benefits for the surrounding community. So thank you to U.S. Steel, to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the City of Pittsburgh, and Allegheny County for collaborating on this exciting and beneficial project. IRT is grateful to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker, please join me in welcoming Senator Jim Brewster, who represents the Mon Valley community of the 45th District in the state legislature. Jim.
Well, mine's going to be a little bit longer. You guys are awful brief. When you're in Harrisburg, if you don't talk a lot, you don't get much attention. Even then, you don't get much. The last time I was on the site, Governor Corbett was here, and I think we were throwing silver dollars into the blast furnace, right, Chris? My good friend Bob Macy is here. I think he kept the silver dollar. I told him he was supposed to throw it in. But Bob's my friend. But I think that was an announcement of almost $1 billion investment. Correct, Chris? And then up at Municipal Building in Clairton, we had a meeting. Some of you fellows and ladies may have been there when Austin Davis and I had the hearing on the environmental issue. It was quite a crowd, actually. And I don't see some of the folks that were up there here today. They were the ones that wanted you shut down the next day. Remember that? I find it awful interesting that we're here complying with what I would think some of their environmental concerns, but they're not here. Or are you here? Okay, I didn't think so. Why would you do that? Why would you come out and reward somebody and thank somebody? And investment by your outstanding CEO, Dave, probably most productive steelworkers in the world. You know, behind the scenes, when you're in Harrisburg, we get to do a lot of things that never really get publicized. And about, I guess it's been 6 or 7 years ago, I was trying to support the Marcellus shale industry because of the jobs and trying to get energy independence, correct? So I started looking into the steel issue and piping, only to find out, and I'm going to get the number a little bit wrong, but it's close. There were about 16 different sources of steel coming in for the pipe. All from out of the country except U.S. Steel. Completely unregulated. Steel made by people who are working hard but didn't know the business. And we're bringing that into our country when we should be using our own. So you learn things. Now, when you start to piece all this together, the environmental concerns, is there anybody in here who doesn't care about the environment? I didn't think so. Okay? Is there anybody in here that works here that doesn't want to be safe when you come in? I didn't think so. We have to start telling people who think we are ignorant of those things. We don't want anybody hurt over here. We don't want the air being bad. But we want to produce a product that's the best in the world. Domestic steel made by U.S. Steel. It's the best in the world. By the best employees in the world that make that product. And today, my chief of staff thought I was going to get to drive this thing, so just humor him. He's a good guy. He just gets misled sometimes. This is a step in the right direction. And you've made others. You know, when I was a kid, and just so you know, my first job out of college was at the Irvin Works on the pickle line. Anybody know the pickle line? Well, I was educated, so I thought that made me smart. Let me tell you something. When I got into the pickle line, and I was the feeder helper, and I had to cut off the bed edges and then feed it in, I said, what happened to the last guy I worked with? Well, they were having fun with me. Well, he lost a finger. I said, how about the guy before that? Well, he lost a hand. And I said, and I'm looking up out of this pit. I said, when do we have lunch? He said, this is production. You'll eat whenever the line goes down. Anybody familiar with that? So that's why I started. My brothers worked at Christie Park Works. We made bombs for Vietnam War. My other brother worked at National Tube. My father worked at National Tube. And I see Tammy and some of my friends from Liberty and Lincoln here. I'm just digressing for a moment. So I live in Christie Park, which is right over top of that hill. We used to ride our bikes up there. You couldn't find a green blade of grass anywhere for acres. Now, you can see the difference. That's called progress. Some of our folks who don't appreciate our industry don't see progress. And I think we need to talk about that more. I often laughed about it because I've been over there in Christie Park about 65 years. You may find that odd, given that I look like I'm 50, right? Someone's supposed to say that. Tammy, you should defend me. And I said, I was speaking somewhere about the steel, and every time there's an event, somebody says, oh, gee, our air's bad. I said, wait a minute. Where I live, and this is an absolute fact, there were 5 different individuals that lived to be 100 within 2 streets from me. Now, I admit I might be a little odd, but it has nothing to do with the air from Clairton Mill. It's probably genetic. I don't know. So some of this myth that's out there, we need to have folks that really care about the environment to work with us and not against us. Okay? So we have a couple of objectives. One, produce the best product on the planet, which you do. Do it with the best steel workers in the world, which we have. And third, have a CEO and administrative staff with him that can put together a plan. As we found out at the last Steeler game, talent you need, okay? But you need a plan. He has a plan, okay? And if we put all those together, we're going to preserve a legacy of over 100 years of an industry that's been here. Over 100 years. And it'll be not just the industry's legacy, it'll be your legacy, because some of you had fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers that worked at these plants just like me. Okay? And when you look at the charitable part of your CEO's plan, and Tammy, some of these communities I know because they're in my district, and I know how much they need money because they call me often, which they're allowed to do. Liberty, Lincoln, Portview, great communities, Glassport. And to see U.S. Steel, I was with the CEO in Braddock at the library, okay? North Braddock had a playground put together. Some of the things that have happened through the benevolence of U.S. Steel. So when you have a plan and you're addressing issues with projects like this, with the experts, and you have a great workforce, okay, you can make things happen. And I'm excited, and I'm not afraid to stand up and say, U.S. Steel could live another 100 years if we all do our piece. Money from the state, leadership from your CEO, great work by you fellas and ladies, communities that are willing to stand up and say, look, we appreciate what you've done for us. We have our act together here, and we have to make sure we market that. And I want to throw a shout out not just to your CEO, but Chris Mastiantonio is very good about keeping me informed on what's going on, so that we're out in Harrisburg, we can talk about these things. And sometimes we're in rooms, and it's just not the environmental folks. They have a reason to exist. They're not wrong. It's the process that's wrong. Like, sometimes you win a football game and maybe the plan didn't work. I'm not questioning, nobody here is going to question, we don't want children sick. We don't want people getting hurt. When I was 10 years old, I used to ride by National Tube. I'd see the sign. It's been 180 days since we had an accident. I could never figure out in my feeble mind why we would advertise that. Industry, sometimes there is an accident. It's not a perfect world. But if you have leadership and you have experienced people, you know how to deal with those things. I mean, the one call I got, it was a fire, and I don't want to de-emphasize it. It was all about nothing. And everybody in the world was on a phone. Did you hear about what happened at Clairton? And it turned out to be not much of anything. So it's an overreaction because there's a group that wants that overreaction. Instead of saying, you know what? It happened. They took care of it, and we move on. But I'll just leave you with this thought. I'm on a transportation committee and a number of other, what I think, significant committees. We're building roads. We're building schools. We're building bridges with the highest quality steel. You're keeping people safe. You're saving lives. You don't think about that every day, but you are. And when you hear other product coming in from another country, I don't feel quite as safe about that. Now, I'm sure I'm hoping that the new CEO doesn't come up and say, well, that guy's a complete fool. But this is what happens when you have people that aren't experts in the field. I can only deal on information I've received. But I will say this to you. I'm going to support U.S. Steel till the day I take my last breath. They didn't stay around here 100 years by accident. I'm going to support the product that you make and the people who make it and their union leaders who I support. We're going to support the plan that your CEO puts forward. And what will happen is we'll keep millions of people safe. We'll have good paying jobs, safe. We'll produce the best product on the planet, and we'll do it with a team. And we'll do more of this stuff here that helps the environment to send a message out that we understand. We are not ignorant of the fact that we have to care about our environment. On that note, I just want to thank you for inviting me. Be safe, and God bless.
Thank you, Senator Brewster. You could probably turn those heaters off. I think he just lit a spark in the whole room, so it's getting a little warm. So that's great. Please join me in welcoming our next guest speaker, Allegheny County Councilman at Large, Sam DeMarco.
What an exciting day today. Good afternoon. As Allegheny County Council Member at Large, I'm pleased to be joining U.S. Steel and all of you here this afternoon to recognize today's important event. U.S. Steel's decision to convert 2 diesel-powered locomotives to new battery-powered locomotives here at the Mon Valley Works further demonstrates the company's commitment to environmental excellence and further reducing emissions at the Mon Valley Works. The addition of these battery-powered locomotives, one each at Clairton and Edgar Thomson, is another step in this company's commitment to environmental performance and world-class steelmaking. Battery-powered locomotives will not only reduce the amount of diesel fuel consumed at the Clairton and Edgar Thomson works, but also reduce airborne particulate matter and demonstrate U.S. Steel's use of emerging technology at the Mon Valley Works. Now, I'm here today because today's commitment is also important to Allegheny County's economy. And this is what many of these folks who come out and complain about things seem to lose sight of. U.S. Steel's operation here in Pennsylvania had an economic impact of $3.6 billion. That's billion with a B in 2022. Most of that $3.6 billion economic impact is to the benefit of Allegheny County's economy. As Allegheny County's largest manufacturer, the Mon Valley Works is also an important part of the Pennsylvania steel industry, an industry that provides a $100 billion, billion with a B, economic impact to the statewide economy. Most importantly, today represents a commitment for the Mon Valley Works' 3,000 hardworking men and women, many of whom live here in Allegheny County. These are the types of investments in manufacturing and in good-paying, family-sustaining jobs that those of us in county government need to support and to encourage. I want to thank U.S. Steel's President and CEO, David Burritt, and recognize your leadership for making this important commitment to the Mon Valley Works. I also want to thank all of the employees of the Mon Valley Works, the hard-working men and women who are at the heart of its operations, making high-quality steel products from iron ore and coke, and doing so while protecting our shared environment and supporting the communities where we live and raise our families. Thank you, all of you.
So finally, I think we're really especially excited to hear from our final speaker, who's leading U.S. Steel to achieve a more sustainable future through projects like these. This is the guy that gives us the thumbs up to do this work, our president and CEO of U.S. Steel, Dave Burritt.
I first have to say I'm getting way too much credit for all of this. I can tell you this, the people that do the work are the ones that I applaud. Thank you so very much. Day in and day out, you do whatever it takes to make sure that you're safe, you're taking care of the environment, and you truly are delivering the best product. So thank you very much. But it's not done by just the employees. I mean, I'm impressed with each one of the speakers here, and in fact, I may be calling on some of you for a keynote from time to time, because I definitely need to up my game, okay? But the thing to remember here is U.S. Steel's been around for a really, really long time, and there's a whole lot of firsts, you know. We like to talk about the first company to have $1 billion market cap and $1 billion in sales, first to have the first, you know, annual report, board of directors, even invented the term safety first, if you can imagine, right? And so when we think about this legacy of the company, you often think, well, when was the last time we were ever first? I don't know. We're looking at it right behind us right now, so let's give it up to Ira, the entire team, the public-private partnership, and all the people here that made that happen. Thank you. At U.S. Steel, our mission is profitable steel solutions for people, and now our most important customer, the planet. And when you have reduced emissions, reduced fuel consumption, and also even reduced sound with this innovative technology, it really says volumes about what we're doing as a company. Our goals are always in these categories: best operations, best relationships, and also best stockholder value. And I'm happy to report this year, we're the undisputed leader in safety. Thank you again very much, gentlemen. Safety first. We invented that term, and it stays with us all these years. And the best relationships are happening. We're taking market share. We're growing the business. Things are bright for us. And of course, you've seen all the things that are going on with U.S. Steel. We're getting a little help from all the interest in U.S. Steel, but our stock value is highest in the entire industry as well. So it's great to have our stockholders rewarded in this whole process as well. But that doesn't happen unless everybody works together within the community, with the company, and with the employees. It makes a great difference for the success and the enjoyment for all of us to have really well-paid jobs, good benefits when we perform very well. So I am grateful for you. I am thankful for you. I really appreciate what you've been able to make possible, and here's a great example of what the future can look like. And we can be not just first, but best. So thank you.
All right, I'd really like to thank all of our speakers today. Before we conclude our program, we have one more thing to unveil. It's our latest Made Here commercial, which will be seen on TVs all through the Pittsburgh area. This Made Here commercial actually features one of our employees, Bob Williams. Stand up. Bob and I actually started at the blast furnace probably around the same time. So, you know, 29 years ago, if I'd known you were going to be a star, I would have got your autograph instead of making you, run slag down the runner. But the commercial is great. It really highlights what motivates our employees and inspires them to work at U.S. Steel. So let's take a look at it.
This engine has been around since my grandfather worked at U.S. Steel. Things are different now. The air in Allegheny County is 80% cleaner than it was just 10 years ago, and it's about to get even cleaner. U.S. Steel is replacing 2 of our diesel engines with electric ones. That's like taking 7,000 cars off the road. I'm proud to help create a more sustainable future for them.
Pretty cool. I'll get you later, Bob. I'll get that autograph. Thank you. Thanks. It's a really cool commercial. So I think it's really exciting when you see that commercial on TV and you can look at your family and say, that's where I work. A company to be proud that we work there. So really, I'd like to invite everybody. This kind of concludes the program, but I want everyone to take a look at this brand new, battery-powered locomotive. To my left is a door. There'll be a ramp that goes up, and we can just keep the flow of traffic moving. They can go look at the locomotive. We'll open up the panel doors so you can see, and then down the stairs. There'll be lunch on the other side of the black curtains here, so you can have lunch. And we also would remind everybody to sign our commemorative panel. This 153E, there's markers there. You can sign, put your mark to really highlight this great event. Finally, after lunch, there are some gifts for those that are celebrating with us today. We have Sarah's chocolate engines. And if you better take one, because good Lord knows I don't need it with Halloween coming up and everything else, it's just not good. So thank you. Thank you, everybody who's part of this project. Thank you for being here on this monumentous day. Thank you.